But first, we're going to talk about domestic violence and forced marriage in Sudan. The economic conditions, which are deteriorating, of course, under the pandemic, have apparently fueled an increase in this kind of behaviour and offending. That's according to a UN-backed study, Voices from Sudan 2020. It's a nationwide assessment of gender-based violence in Sudan. And Massimo Diana is the Deputy Director of the UN's Humanitarian Office based in Khartoum. Massimo, welcome to the programme. Give us an idea, how has the study been carried out and what are these findings? Particularly, what's the connection between forced marriage and the pandemic?
Hello, good morning to you. Good morning to your listeners. First, I would like to initiate by saying that this study would have not been possible without the historic changes that have been taking place in the country. The changes of the transitional government and the new wave of activists from particularly women and young people have created the conditions to start talking about gender-based violence as opposed to keeping it as a hidden subject. As you make reference, the study is the first of its kind. It covers all 18 states of the country. More than 2,000 respondents were interviewed. More than 200 focus group discussions took place. One of the key headlines is that 1 of 5 of the respondents reported that domestic violence, and specifically sexual violence, to be the most common form of GBV in their communities. And another national survey indicates that 3 out of 5 women below the age of 24 were either married or in a union before they were 18. When it comes to the worsening economic conditions, as indicated, women and girls in Sudan, as anywhere in the world, are more disproportionately affected. The lockdown measures created a condition where victims are forced to stay at home with abusers. Young girls are forced into marriage as a negative coping mechanism. Families simply see them either as an asset or unable to feed them, and marrying them off becomes a solution, an unfortunate solution.
And the definition of forced marriage that you're using is being married before 18, is it?
That is correct, and it is forced without, of course, a consent. The report contains also a lot of very powerful quotes directly from respondents, and we have girls basically saying that they came back from school, they found that a feast ready at home waiting for them, and they were told that they were being married. A lot of the practice is also marriage within the same tribe, marriage within the family, with cousins. So it is an unfortunate common practice.
Right. It's interesting. It's interesting what you say, that the opening up of civil society and discussions about this has been important in being able to study this. Now, the transitional government has many things on its plate. Is it going to be able to take on issues which you are drawing our attention to, but many would say are cultural issues and therefore very difficult for a government to take on?
Absolutely, but what again here I want to commend the government, particularly the Combating Violence Against Women, which is at the level of the Cabinet of Ministers entity that is a co-author of this particular study. Yes, it is one of those social issues that will always be forgotten or put on a second priority when you have economy, debt relief, and other priorities, security, which are clearly, of course, important priorities. But the fact that it is recognized that we have now this study, it creates an opportunity to better understand the issue, to look at the demographics that it is impacting, look at trends over time. It is one of those steps to start looking at the eradication of violence from a social, cultural and economic dimension.
So you're saying that is now a priority. Many thanks indeed. Massimo Diana of the UN's Humanitarian Office in Khartoum.